Belton, Kansas City, Missouri, 2007. This was where 17-year-old Cara Kopetsky lived. People described her as energetic, fun, and a real firecracker. She never held back what she thought, and if her friends wanted an honest, straight, no sugarcoating opinion, she was the one they went to. In a lot of ways, she was a typical 17-year-old girl. She definitely had moments of insecurity, often changed her hairstyle and makeup, and loved experimenting with different looks. She could spend hours talking with friends on the phone, even if she had just seen them at school. Her mother, Rhonda, said that one time the phone bill was 40 pages long. The door to Cara's room was almost always closed, and whenever she forgot her house keys for what felt like the 100th time, she would often climb in through the window and then climb back out again. The family used to joke about it. On May 4th, 2007, Cara was at school. Right after 9 a.m., she had a free period, so she left the building. Nothing happened. But when she didn't return to class and then didn't show up for her shift at Popeyes, people started to worry very quickly. Shortly after 5 p.m., her family went back to the police. Everything that her family assumed she would have taken with her if she were planning to be gone for a long time was left in Cara's room. Makeup, clothes, and her iPad. A full pack of Marlboro Lights. The hair straightener she used every morning. But her phone was missing, a Motorola Razr which she almost never went without. However, it hadn't been used since the morning of May 4th. The police searched Cara's locker at Belton High School. There they found her debit card, and there had been no activity on her bank account. The school's surveillance cameras recorded Cara leaving at 9:19 a.m. during her free period, but she was not seen on any other footage. She had a lot of plans for the coming days, meeting friends, picking up her paycheck from work, and a job interview at Quick Trip. She didn't show up anywhere and didn't tell anyone the reason. Cara disappeared on the same day that a tornado swept through the town of Greensburg, Kansas. Therefore, when the family reached out to the local media, journalists were completely occupied with the events in Greensburg, and some were even reluctant to take on her story, because of the scale of the other tragedy. Despite this, the whole town came together to find her. Her MySpace was flooded with comments under her photos. Large groups of people searched the streets day and night, and her face was posted everywhere. Eventually, police received more than 400 tips and over 100 reported sightings of her, from Florida to California, on an airplane, even on a tram at Disney World. Detectives learned that Cara had an ex-boyfriend who had taken their recent breakup very hard. 18-year-old Kylr Yust and Cara had dated for about 9 months when Cara decided to end the relationship. On April 24th, an upset Cara wrote on social media, "Lately, life hasn't been the best for me. For the last 9 months of my life, I gave myself completely to Kylr. I made no time for my friends or my family. During those 9 months, I forgot who I really was, and now I'm trying to find that person again." At first, it seemed like things were going well. They had similar styles and the same taste in music. 18-year-old Kylr was also a year older and, according to many people, had a reputation for being cool, charismatic, popular, a bad boy, and the frontman of a band. But Cara's parents said they began noticing changes in their daughter over time. She was losing her spark and becoming less and less like herself the longer they were together. 4 days after that post, on April 28th, the situation suddenly escalated. Cara went to Belton police and reported that Kylr had kidnapped her. According to her, when she was leaving work, he forcibly pulled her into his car and only let her go many miles away. She was granted a protective order, which was served to him on May 1st. In her request for protection, Cara listed multiple incidents, including the kidnapping. She said he restrained her by force and choked her, adding that she did not know what he would do next because the violence had only been getting worse over time. Then just 3 days later, she disappeared. Detectives spoke with Kylr. He said that on May 4th, around 11 o'clock that morning, he saw a missed call from Cara, but when he called back, she did not answer. He claimed that day he was at his grandfather's house and at band practice and never saw her at all. Kylr talked about all the photos of Cara he still kept on his phone and how desperately he wanted her to come back. Yes, things had ended badly, and yes, he had acted wrong, but he was worried about her. He also said Cara sometimes talked about running away to Mexico the next time she had
things that could have
problems at home.
happened, and a whole list of places she might be.
Anything could have happened, and there was a long list of places where she could be.
Said that I was a suspect because of prior happenings, not because of anything that would point to me having anything to do with her disappearing now.
I think you've been very cooperative.
Mm-hmm. I have been, because I don't know anything about where she is or about what happened. I wish I did.
Did you threaten to slit her throat?
No. Didn't.
What happened?
That didn't happen that night. That was before.
He said that Cara just wanted to have fun, to try everything and experience everything in life. She didn't think far ahead. She always lived in the moment, never thinking about who she would become when she grew up. He also said, "Lately I've been a bit depressed waiting all of this. I have no idea where she is." But Cara's phone records soon revealed a completely different picture. She called Kylr at 9:13 in the morning on May 4th. He called her back at 9:20. This happened just 1 minute after she was last captured on camera as she was leaving school. But alright, not ahead of time. This immediately caught the police's attention since the calls happened almost at the same time as her last appearance. On June 2nd, about a 30-minute drive from Overland Park, the news was soon overshadowed by another missing girl case. 18-year-old Kelsey Smith was abducted in front of a local store near the White House. Although the police determined that Cara's and Kelsey's cases were not connected for these small, quiet towns, it was a period of extraordinary, loud, and difficult news. 4 days later, Kelsey's body was found and her killer was arrested that same day. Rhonda said it's a horrible feeling. As a mother, you hope that your daughter is out there somewhere, alive, and maybe just being held somewhere. Maybe you still hold on to the hope of bringing her home alive. But as is tragically the case in many situations, weeks turned into months and then into years.
2007. Her mother told us this morning that last night she got the call that search teams would be out this morning looking for her daughter. She was last seen leaving Belton High School. She hasn't been heard from since. We do have a crew on the way to the scene, and we're going to be bringing you updates throughout this newscast. Now, right now, Rhonda Beckford, Cara's mother. Rhonda, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, Russ.
I've known you now about 3 years, and I've been with you several times as you've had to wait for word on what police are searching for, and I thank you for joining us, and I'm wondering if you can tell us what you know so far.
Well, basically all I really know is last night we received a phone call from Belton PD letting us know that there was going to be a search. I was not told whether it was a tip or what it was that led them to that location.
I take it as a hopeful sign that they're out there looking, and you know, next month will be 3 years that Cara's been missing, and I'm just glad that they haven't given up and they're still out there trying to find her.
Everyone spread out to the west so we can cover the whole area. Let's go!
I was just told that it was an area that they wanted to search really well and eliminate.
How do you get through these days of waiting?
You just, as a mother, you just take it day by day, and you get up every morning with the expectation that possibly today could be the day that you get answers. And 3 years is too long, way too long to wait for answers. And somebody out there knows something, and that person needs to come forward and say what they know. And I'm not going to let people forget about Cara. I'm not giving up, and I'm going to keep pushing on until we get answers. And there's a $30,000 reward, and on Sunday, May 2nd, we will have our third annual walk of remembrance for Cara.
How do you want her to be remembered?
I just want Cara to be remembered as the bubbly, spunky. She wasn't afraid to tell you what she thought. You know, she wasn't scared of anything.
3 years had passed, and in cases like this, things usually start to fade naturally. People's memories grow weaker. Posters peel off the walls and attention shifts to other news stories. But for the community of Cass County, that was not the case. People were still going out in large search groups almost every week, with the same care and dedication they had shown in the first days after she disappeared. Cara's ex-boyfriend Kylr kept running into trouble with the law, and one way or another stayed on police radar. Drugs, traffic violations, assaults. He was estranged from his parents and had been diagnosed with bipolar disorder and post-traumatic stress disorder. He also had a history of alcohol and drug abuse. He started using cocaine at 14 and heroin at 16. Investigators questioned him many times about Cara, including inconsistencies in phone records, but he always remained closed off and said very little. He admitted that he had forcibly pulled her into his car, which was the incident that led to the protective order. He also admitted grabbing her several times during arguments. 3 years after Cara disappeared, several people, including Kylr's former girlfriend and one of his bandmates, told police that Kylr had allegedly confessed to killing Cara himself. The FBI asked the woman he was dating at the time to wear a hidden microphone in hopes of getting information out of him. She tried hard to get him talking about Cara. Most of the time, He spoke vaguely and evasively, talking about spirits, energies, and how he felt like Cara had touched his shoulder.
Just like felt her hand on my shoulder, and I heard she didn't say anything. It was just like her voice. I promise I will come back and see you, Cara.
He then said,
Because I killed her and left her out in the wilderness alone. For her spirit just roam the forest.
For some reason, it seemed like even that wasn't enough.
Thursday gets tougher for Rhonda Beckford.
It's kind of like a roller coaster. You know, it's got its ups and its downs, and you know, we've had 8 searches.
Her daughter, Cara Kopetsky, disappeared 4 years ago. Despite the extensive searches and dozens of tips, still no clue as to where Cara may be. Today in Belton, dozens of people walked to help drum up more tips for Cara's case.
It's amazing to have, you know, all these people still show up 4 years later. They're still hoping and searching right along with us.
We had 4 days where we didn't know where Kelsey is. They're going on 4 years and not knowing.
Greg Smith understands Beckford's pain. His daughter, Kelsey Smith, disappeared a month after Cara. Surveillance video from the Target behind the Oak Park Mall showed Smith buying a present, and then she disappeared. Her body was found 4 days later in a wooded area near Longview Lake in Grandview. Edwin Hall pled guilty to kidnapping, rape, and murder. He's been sentenced to life in prison.
I can feel when people pray for us, you know, when they support us like that. It's just a real palpable feeling. You know that there's people out there supporting you, and it makes it a little bit easier.
Beckford hopes similar prayers will help find her daughter. There's an $80,000 reward for the tip that leads to Cara.
In 2011, Kylr's girlfriend, who was 6 months pregnant at the time, filed for a protective order against him. She said he had strangled her several times, then hit her so she would not lose consciousness. She also claimed that he killed her 3 cats. According to her, he told her he had killed people before, including former girlfriends he murdered out of jealousy.
These police reports led to today's guilty plea for choking and striking a new girlfriend. In them, the victim's mother told police Yust drew a pentagram on the girlfriend's forehead and warned her he'd seen bodies hidden in barrels of acid or where pigs would devour the dead.
He was sentenced to 2 years of probation and was also charged with animal cruelty. Later, he was detained for stealing tattoo equipment, various traffic violations, and eventually for drug dealing. In November 2013, Kylr was sentenced to 45 months in prison for drug trafficking. While serving his sentence in prison, he allegedly confessed again to a cellmate that he had killed Carl. In April 2016, he was released after serving most of his sentence. It had already been almost 10 years since Cara was last seen when she was leaving school, and soon attention returned to this area again for eerily similar reasons. On September 8, 2016, just 10 minutes from where Cara disappeared, 21-year-old Jessica Wren was having fun at a party with friends. Jessica worked as a pastry chef at a restaurant inside a senior living facility and had recently been proud to earn a promotion to manager. She was an excellent baker, and the chance to do what she loved while making money doing it suited her perfectly. She planned to enroll in college and study journalism. Her parents said she was hardworking and deeply family-oriented, especially close with her 2 younger sisters and always protective of them. Her mother said the family group chat was constantly blowing up with photos and messages.
I love you, Jessica.
She was punctual and stayed in contact with her family many times throughout the day. So when she did not come home after the party and her phone immediately went to voicemail, police were called within just a few hours. A few hours later, at 2 o'clock in the morning, Jessica's car was found burned in a wooded area miles away from everything, but Jessica herself was nowhere to be found. The next day, she missed a doctor's appointment. She had recently had her appendix removed, and it was an important follow-up visit. Jessica is not the kind of girl who runs away. She loved her job, she loved her friends, she loved her family, and there is no sign of her, said her father, John.
Here at 5 o'clock, first, family and friends of the missing woman, Jessica Runyon, still searching for more clues in the area where her car was found burned.
Well, we've seen several cars and trucks of people who are searching these woods for any clues in Jessica Runyon's disappearance, but as of right now, police don't have any updates and they are not looking. wearing reflective safety vests. Jessica Runyon's family and friends met near 95th and Blue River Road today to look for answers. The same area where Runyon's burned car was found over the weekend. They refused to talk to us about their search, but said Kansas City police are not actively searching for the 21-year-old. Runyons was last seen on Thursday leaving a party with 28-year-old Kylr Yust. Police arrested Yust in Benton County on Sunday. He's suspected of burning Runyon's car. Police also questioned Yust in the 2007 disappearance of Cara Kopetsky. We talked to a private investigator who worked the Kopetsky case and is following Runyon's case very closely.
Over the years, Kylr has been in trouble time and time again. And he's been cut breaks by the justice system, or a judge or an attorney's, got the time lessened for him. He should be in prison.
Now back here live, you can clearly see that this is a dump site. A lot of items down here. In fact, at one point, searchers found a bag of women's clothing, and they thought that possibly it was connected to the disappearance, but police have said no.
According to witnesses from the party, Jessica was seen leaving with a familiar face. 28-year-old Kylr, who had been released from prison just 5 months earlier. He was allegedly a childhood friend of her boyfriend, and Jessica was supposed to give him a ride home. People at the party said that Kylr was not only drinking heavily, but was also irritable and abrasive in his behavior. Kyl's stepbrother, Brad Jessup, told the police that he saw Kylr set Jessica's car on fire. Jessup also stated that Kylr told him he strangled Jessica and then dumped her body in the woods. When the police found Kylr, his face was covered in burns. He said he remembers almost nothing because of how much he drank, but he knows he spent the night at his grandfather's house. The trailer he lived in was in complete disarray. Weapons, pills, food that had been lying there for several weeks. He was arrested and charged with intentional arson of a vehicle. Jessup cooperated willingly. He even reached out to the media himself, Shora, Cara, and Jessica.
We just want Cara and Jessica, we want those families to have some justice served. And if he's found to be guilty, we want them to be, we just want them to feel better that he's finally put away.
Kylr was kept behind bars on a $50,000 cash bond, and the trial in the vehicle case was scheduled for the fall of 2017. Jessup himself also ended up in jail after being charged with multiple traffic violations and arson of a house. The one person who was of interest in both the disappearances of Cara and Jessica was once again sitting in jail. And even though 7 different people had separately told police that he confessed to killing both women, investigators still did not have enough evidence to charge him even in the disappearances, let alone murder. Lieutenant Brad Swanson said, "We've been able to rule out a lot of people, but we have not been able to rule out Kylr." Jessica's mother, Jaime, had never heard of Kylr before and was shocked when she started looking into him. After seeing the connection to Cara's unsolved case, Jaime reached out to Rhonda. A strong bond quickly formed between them as they began sharing stories and information. Just like in Cara's case years earlier, the search for Jessica continued in full force.
It's been 5 weeks since the disappearance of Jessica Runyons. Her family searching every week, while the last man to see her alive remains behind bars.
I ask that you would put a hedge of protection on everybody today.
At 9 o'clock this morning, search crews met in Grandview.
Our steps are multiplied and closer to finding Jessica.
They're all volunteering to help Jamie Runyons find her daughter, Jessica.
It's been 5 weeks since we've seen her face. It's been 5 weeks since we've seen her smile. It's been 5 weeks since she's played with her sisters and laughed.
Guided by maps and equipped with ATVs, searchers broke into groups. Jessica's been missing since September 8th.
5 weeks. It's time for her to come home.
She was last seen leaving a party with 28-year-old Kylr Yust. He's been charged with burning Jessica's car, but not with her disappearance.
We're covering a wide span, and today is just part of covering that full map.
This is the 5th Sunday the family has searched for Jessica, in addition to additional searches during the week. And despite her obvious heartbreak, Jamie Runyons remains grateful.
Whether you're searching, whether you're praying, whether you're donating, whether you're sending your love or anything, we appreciate that. Kansas City, the police department, they are going searching on duty and off duty. They're taking time out of their lives, just like everybody else is, to try to bring Jessica home. It's time, and we need her home.
Her father said the entire hallway wall was covered with a map of the area, and they were working through it section by section. Your loved one doesn't just disappear like that. She did not choose to not be with us for the holidays.
It's been 6 months with no answers in the disappearance of Jessica Runyons. She was last seen leaving a party with a man who's now behind bars. Since then, her family has spent most weekends scouring the Kansas City area.
Finally, in April 2017, the investigation changed direction. In the rural, wooded area south of Kansas City, Missouri, a man was out gathering mushrooms when he stumbled upon something else: bones. They didn't look like animal bones. So, trusting his instincts, he called for help. His hunch turned out to be correct. They really were human bones. And the very next day, about 20 yards from there, a second set of remains was found, including a skull.
Tragic breaking developments. Police are now trying to figure out who killed Jessica Runyons. Her remains were found earlier this week in Cass County.
The medical examiner's office quickly determined that some of the recovered bones belonged to Jessica Wren, but the others had been there much longer and required additional testing. Rhonda said, "The hardest part is the waiting. In my heart, I feel the other remains belong to Cara. And 4 months later..."
Enforcement and family members confirming to 41 Action News the human remains found back in April are that of Cara Kopetsky.
She had been missing.
Cara and Jessica had finally been found. It was now officially a double murder case. Rhonda said, "This is only the beginning. We are in this fight until the end. I am Cara's voice, and she is Jessica's voice. And we will make sure their voices are heard loud and clear." Kylr was charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder and 2 counts of abandonment of a corpse. He pleaded not guilty.
He doesn't have that to hold over our heads anymore. We got her back.
For the last 10 years, each morning, Cara Kopetsky's family hoped for this day, tonight, finally, a resolution.
The heaviness has been lifted, the lightness, there's a lightness in the air. And, you know, it's a glorious day. Cara's officially back home.
For years, the family held walks, made signs to keep the tips coming and remind others Cara was still missing.
Don't ever give up. I mean, keep pushing on. Keep trying to keep your missing loved one in the public eye, because that's what's going to keep the tips and leads coming in.
Cara's remains were near the bones of Jessica Runyons. The 2 mothers who lost daughters have a close connection.
She knows that I'm there for her. If either one of us are having a bad day, you know, I know I can call her, and she knows she can call me.
The mothers know the investigation isn't over.
She was robbed of her life, and, you know, she deserves justice, and you know, it's up to us now to make sure that she gets that justice.
Even though she's not here with us physically, but she'll be loved forever.
The prosecution had strong witnesses, including Jessup Carter, but everything changed when Jessup took his own life in jail.
Attorneys for Kylr Yust filed these motions right here, asking for his indictment to be tossed or his murder trial delayed, arguing the ongoing pandemic has seriously hampered their case.
And just as the trial was about to begin, the pandemic started, delaying everything once again. In April 2021, in order to finally move the case forward, it was decided that the cases of Cara and Jessica would be tried together, and the confident Kylr chose to testify in person.
Today, a jury heard opening arguments in the trial of Kylr Yust. He's facing 2 counts of first-degree murder in the deaths of Cara Kopetsky and Jessica Runyon.
Yust was originally arrested and accused of burning her vehicle.
His face and hands were scratched and burned.
Yust's defense attorneys say he was burned while using a burn barrel that had aerosol cans inside that exploded. They plan to try to present an alibi defense.
There is literally no time during the day when he could have committed this crime.
In 2011, the FBI caught Yust confessing to how he killed Cara. Yust said, "I strangled the out of her and threw her in the middle of the woods." Yust also said that his neck tattoo symbolizes his hands around Cara's throat.
Prosecutors say he also confessed to killing Jessica to his own mother during a call from jail.
His lawyer insisted that the police hadn't explored all possible leads or examined all the evidence, and that there was no physical evidence directly linking him to the murder. According to the defense, Kylr supposedly managed to commit 2 murders without leaving a single trace. And since Jess was no longer alive to defend himself, Kylr and his lawyers blamed him, claiming that he was the killer. Prosecutors described Kylr as obsessive, jealous, and remorseless. They emphasized how convenient it was to blame Jessup now, when in all these years, Kylr had never even mentioned his brother's name. The only name he ever mentioned in connection with the murder was not his own. The motive in Cara's case was jealousy. Cara no longer wanted to be with him, and he couldn't accept that. As for Jessica's murder, some sources claimed that she was dating his friend. Others said that she had previously been in a relationship with Kylr himself. What was their relationship at that time? The accounts differ. The prosecutor said, when Cara tried to break up with you, you said, if she's not going to be with me, then she won't be with anyone. You killed Jessica on purpose, just like you killed Cara before, because no one else had the right to be with Jessica either. Jurors were reminded of at least 7 confessions Kylr had made over the previous 14 years, including one during a phone call to his mother from jail. It's all happening again, only worse this time. To hell with everything. I've got nothing left to lose now. Might as well become famous.
Well, at times it got a bit tense, especially when the prosecution was cross-examining him. At the end of the day, the prosecution told the jury that they've proven that Yust is guilty of first-degree murder based on his actions toward Cara Kopetsky and Jessica Runyons right before they went missing. And right now, his defense is presenting the jury with their closing arguments. They say that there simply is no evidence. Yust did acknowledge while he was on the stand that Cara Kopetsky and Jessica Runyons were both last seen with him. However, he insisted he did not kill them, instead putting the blame on his half-brother, Jessup Carter. The prosecution grilled him about why he never once, over the course of 14 years, told police that bit of information, but Yust said he didn't want to get in trouble for violating Kopetsky's restraining order she had out against him. Yust also says he's not the one who torched Runyon's car and that he had lit a fire in a burn barrel, and that's why he was burned. And that confession heard on the FBI wiretap, Yust said he was just saying he killed Kopetsky to fulfill his ex-girlfriend's fantasies.
Could you introduce yourself to the jury, please, Kylr?
I'm Kylr Yust. I remember thinking, I might as well I'm gonna get blamed. My whole life is a freaking wreck. Like, this is just, this is happening all over again. But, even worse. And I just remember, at a couple points, I was just like, screw it, I've got nothing else. I might as well be famous.
Quite a story you tell. You're just missing a couple pieces that I want to go over. You must be the most unlucky guy in the world. Do you know why?
Why's that?
You've had 2 girlfriends that have gone missing, and the last person they were seen with is you? That's pretty unlucky, isn't it?
I think that's extremely unlucky, but anyone who has a brother that's a serial killer, I would say, is very unlucky.
Well, I think it's interesting again, and the only thing, quite frankly, that you've gotten lucky with in this case is that Jessup isn't here to answer for that, right? So you want the jury to believe that the man that is dead is the one that's responsible for this, Kylr?
I think that's why he killed himself.
It's really convenient, isn't it, that he killed himself?
I don't think anything about the situation is convenient.
Well, it's convenient for you because you get to sit up here and say, my brother did it. And your brother's not here to speak for himself, right? And when you found out, actually, that Jessup had killed himself, your response was, I don't fucking care, right? This has been so hard for you, hasn't it, Kylr?
It has been.
You were the target of this investigation for, quite frankly, almost 14 years, right?
Yes.
And testified about how you were acting on the night that you were pulled over. You remember his testimony?
I do, ma'am.
And you have peed yourself. That wasn't me making that up, Kylr.
You reiterated it several times with several different witnesses. I'm sure he remembers.
Well, they should, because you peed your pants, because you were scared about getting pulled over. You didn't get burned until you went and literally doused Jessica's car in gasoline, and that gasoline flashed in your face, right?
No. The burn barrel, yes.
Right. And you actually tell the jury that it hurt.
It did hurt.
You know what else would hurt? To have the life strangled out of you, right?
I believe that is true, yes.
So were you asking for some kind of empathy because you burned yourself when you were torching Jessica's car?
No.
So you would rather sit in jail and be charged with 2 counts of murder in the first degree than to tell law enforcement that your brother allegedly was the one that did this?
I knew that I was getting blamed, and I knew that I'd have my chance to speak my piece right here on the stand, and that's what I did.
You wait until a criminal trial, until a jury is literally sitting here deciding your fate to tell your truth.
Without an established cause of death, securing a first-degree murder conviction was much harder.
On verdict form C, as to the count 1, we the jury find the defendant Kylr Yust guilty of voluntary manslaughter as submitted in instruction number 15. As to count 2, we the jury find the defendant Kylr Yust guilty of murder in the second degree as submitted in instruction number 22 in this case.
And when the verdict was announced, a wave of disappointment swept through the courtroom. In Cara's case, he was found guilty only of voluntary manslaughter, and in Jessica's case, of second-degree murder. Honestly, I do not feel that justice was served for Cara. I'm so sorry, Cara. I tried, Rhonda said through tears. The judge accepted the jury's recommendation and imposed the maximum sentence on both convictions. That meant life in prison for second-degree murder and 15 years for voluntary manslaughter. But in Missouri, a life sentence is counted as 30 years, so the sentences were ordered to run consecutively for a total of 45 years in prison.
The love everyone has shown.
Tonight, two families finally receiving the news they've waited for.
You know, we're very thankful. Thankful for justice to come.
Have you, did they refuse?
Are you my post-conviction counsel?
Have you been able to talk to them about your case over the last, I think, 4 years?
What do you think?
Any comment on the sentencing?
No.
Why'd you ask for a new trial? Yust's defense team ignoring questions after the sentencing. Anything to say to the families? But for the families of Runyons and Kopetsky, it was always about bringing the girls home after losing them too soon.
We won. They won.
We got our girls back.
In Harrisonville, Jackson Kurtz, KMBC 9.
No one was surprised when Kylr filed an appeal. But in 2023, the Missouri Court of Appeals upheld the verdict. We have been covering the Munstral cases for a long time, but we are still shocked by the boundless audacity of some murderers, and by how they boast, manipulate, and play psychological games with everyone around them. Kylr Yust was exactly like that. He hardly hid anything at all. For 10 years, he repeatedly and essentially confessed to being a murderer. And it's impossible not to think about it. How many times he was arrested and released, receiving only probation instead of real prison time for very serious crimes. One can't help but wonder if that man hadn't gone mushroom picking that day, would they have been found at all? Would Kyle have faced any charges at all in connection with their disappearance? The families of Cara and Jessica were left heartbroken and devastated after everything they had been through. Jaime, Jessica's mother, said, "People truly do not understand what it means to have a missing child. It helps to be able to talk with people who do understand. Together we are stronger. We became family. I believe the girls and God brought us together. They united us so we could go through this together. We would not have survived it without each other." Cara's father said that after everything happened, he often forgot to eat. He lost 20 pounds and threw himself completely into work. In his words, "to keep my mind from wandering and my eyes from filling with tears." Cara's younger brother, Thomas, was only 8 years old when she disappeared. He went through a period where he asked strangers for hugs and would spend long stretches of time just sitting in his sister's room, the same room she used to joke he was never allowed to go into. He missed the way she played video games with him, how she cleverly got him to do chores for her, and how they were simply carefree kids together. He said, "I remember that time she grabbed a bottle of water and poured it on my shirt, and then I put ice on her afterward. Now I do not have anyone left to pour water on." Morgan, Jessica's sister, said, "As time went on, there was more and more emptiness inside me because I no longer knew what I was supposed to feel. She was no longer there to hold my hand through life. She was not there for any of it. And I know that if she could have been, she would have been. She was the person who made me laugh so hard I could not breathe. The person who could make my bad days so much better. The person who showed up everywhere to support me, no matter what it was. The person who never let me stay sad for too long. I lost my best friend, my protector, and my favorite person in the world. I love you so much, Jessica, if you can hear me. And like you always said, say it back." On this somber note, we will be concluding our video. Thank you for watching it until the end. Thank you for your support and the time you've spent. Be sure to leave your comments on the topic of our video, subscribe, and give a like if you enjoyed my presentation. I wish you all a wonderful day. Please take care of yourselves.